there.
Oh.
Right.
So it was a mess.
Are you guys recording?
Yep.
Justin?
Yep.
Okay. Let me just make sure I'm recording. That's the recording. I'm going to put this out on Patreon. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Charge Shot Gamescast. Each and every week, best friends gather around and talk about the news in gaming. This week, I have one man down, but replacing him is two Justins.
What? Two Justins?
Where's the other one?
I'm
so confused.
I'll just echo your audio in post, and like we'll have two of you.
Yeah, because my voice isn't annoying enough as it is. You just like kicked it over to two of me, and I felt really pressured.
I thought you might have come up with a bit or something and be like, hello, hello. And just like, I don't know.
I mean, I had a bit, but it wasn't related to Double Me. Double Me Gum. Double Me Gum. What the theme song is? I don't think I've read it all.
I've never heard of this theme song.
The Double Mint Gum commercials.
Oh.
It was like just twins.
Mm-hmm.
That vaguely sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you saw the commercial, be like, oh yeah.
Lo, can you do an impersonation of our good friend Ben?
No.
No.
Just talk about fighting games for 30 minutes. Non-stop.
And Sonic. Well, you got the Sonic part down.
Yeah, you got Sonic. That's no problem.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever gotten emotional over Sonic though. Other than like anger and frustration at Sonic Team for just not making good games for no reason, but other than that. By the way, hi everyone.
Hey everybody.
Thomas isn't letting us actually say hi this week.
I'm really out of it this week. This week, like Tuesday felt like Monday, and like I was surprised today was Friday, and I don't know. I've been all over the place. I'm just super tired. I finally got my B12 shot. I'm gonna blame everything on that, like not having my iron levels up. Go see a doctor. Yeah, I was actually at the doctor's office doing the walking clinic, and I got my B12 shot, and it was actually my family doctor. And she's like, "I haven't seen you in so long." I'm like, "Yeah. Why don't you come for your physical?" I'm like, "Yeah, I probably should do that." Like, and then she just like writes out like a blood test form for me and gives it to me. And it's like, "Here, go get your blood test done." I'm like, "Fine." I don't know why I'm so reluctant. Like, it's like I don't have to pay anything for like to walk into a doctor's office or anything. But like, I just get lazy.
Yeah. I don't have health insurance, so I haven't been to a doctor in over a year. Yeah. I'm healthy, probably.
Yeah.
What you don't know can't hurt you.
That's what they always say. Ignorance is bliss.
Yep. I also haven't been to a dentist in like 6 or 7 years because I don't have dentist. I haven't had dentist insurance since my mom got divorced.
Divorced?
I don't know why I said it like that.
Yeah, I haven't been to a dentist either. I think they're all scam artists out there. Like, I went in for a cleaning. I don't know if I remember I told this story on this podcast or not, but I went in for a cleaning and it's only supposed to be like a couple $100, and I had insurance at the time to cover it. And then they conned me into seeing an actual like dentist and tell me like what cavities I have. And when I came out, it was like, oh yeah, it's like you have to pay like $1,200. I'm like, well, I don't have that money. I'm a student.
Yeah.
And
what?
Whatever, I paid it off, and like that's such bullshit. Like, don't con your customers into paying extra money that they don't have.
What are they gonna do? Unfix your teeth? It's like, you already fixed these bad boys. See ya, suckers.
It's so bad. Anyways, video games, guys. Have you been playing them? Leave a comment in the comment section down below.
Thanks, not easy. Bye. Beat Metroid.
Yeah, you were you didn't tell me anything about it, but you've been sharing about it.
I want to talk about it so bad, but it's only been out for like 2 weeks, so I don't want to spoil it. Because like I didn't like I mentioned when when I started it a week or two ago that that like it had some really cool story elements in the beginning, just kind of like some some slideshow stuff, like recapping the last game, and like it looked really pretty, and that was like pretty much the only like story stuff in the game. Everything after that was just like exploring, killing Metroids, whatever. At the end of the game, you actually get a little more story, and it literally like changes everything you know about Metroid, like as a series. And it gives me a lot of hope that they're going to be using it to like set up more games that kind of delve into like the teases that this game teases. But like it's very subtle. It's like, without spoiling anything, basically there's a little like you beat the game, you go through the credits, there's a little in credits scene, which is like really hype, but kind of just like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a tease for something we haven't already seen, but it's a nice like nod. And then when you get 100%, well, basically throughout the game, like you unlock like concept art, like a concept art gallery. When you get 100%, you unlock like the last piece of concept art. And essentially the whole concept art idea kind of talks about, because this is actually in the game itself, it's not really spoiler. It talks about like the origin of the Chozo and like their connection to the Metroids, and like the Aeon stuff that is in the game. They like tie that into the like the Metroid lore kind of, without getting too specific. And it's really cool because it's like a new mechanic, and like they found a way to like actually make it relevant to the series, even though like you don't see that as an energy source in any other game, because it's just introduced in this one. But like how they actually make it kind of like fit into everything else is really cool. And then you get 100% and you unlock one last slide that like kind of takes like the final just like public slide and like flips it on its head. And it's just like, wait, what? Like I want to spoil it. Like Ben's not here and he's the one playing it, but I still don't want to disrespect the audience. But yeah, basically like it changes your idea of something that like has been in the whole series, and like you just kind of assumed you knew about. And so like if they're not like setting something else up already, like if they don't have another game in development other than Metroid Prime 4, because the Prime series is kind of its own thing, it's still canon, but it's not like they don't share story elements really between like the Prime series and the other ones.
Is it something that like
connects like a Metroid 5?
Is it something that connects the two series together, like the 2D and the Prime?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It connects the other games in like there's right now there's 4 technically in the main series. There's I'm gonna call the remakes the Zero Mission, and then Samus Returns, and then Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion. That's 1 through 4 basically. And this, I assume, is what's kind of setting up an official Metroid 5. Whether that's the Metroid Dread they've been talking about for years, or whether it's something else, I don't know. But the ideas it sets up are really cool.
That's cool.
Because I will say, like, for those that don't know about Fusion, like that game ends in a really like crazy way. Because she's had the Metroid fused to her suit, and basically the whole game delves into like the idea of her connection to the Federation, and how like she's basically been like their servant for so many years, like just doing whatever they say. She doesn't really question their decisions or anything.
Doesn't she have like Metroid DNA or something?
Yeah, I said that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Take some more B12, jeez. And then in the end, she finds out that the Federation has actually been like manipulating her the whole time to do like not necessarily their evil deeds, but basically to like do things that she didn't know she was doing. Like they're not the most ethical of decisions, but she didn't know that. And so she ends up like taking this space station and crashing it into SR388, which is the home planet of the Metroids. Like essentially taking out the Federation and the Metroids and the X-Parasite that's been a big part of Fusion, all in one fell swoop.
She's a badass.
And then it just ends. Like that's the end. She's like on the run basically after destroying this planet with a friggin' Federation space station. And we have no idea what's coming after that, because that game was like 8 years ago or something like that.
That's so cool.
Probably longer. And so like this kind of like sets the tone for what might come next. And it doesn't feel anything with Federation. I'll say that. So it's like, you know, kind of a post-Federation Samus, like what she would be up to.
Huh.
And I want to know so bad.
Me too.
Like literally, I beat it last night, and then, you know, as of recording this, I beat it last night, and then like was talking to one of my friends because he was like at the end of the game, and I was trying to like, you know, we were talking about the lore and stuff, and I was trying not to spoil the end. This morning he beat it too, so we spent most of my work day like while on breaks and stuff, just like talking about theories. Like I'm glad I have someone to talk to about this with. And I forgot what I was saying before all that. I got so excited. And I was like looking on a NeoGAF thread that like, you know, where we're laying out all of those concept art pieces, because I could see them bigger than on the 3DS screen, and like kind of giving their synopsis of what each one, what it might mean, and like, you know, kind of pulling together pieces from other games. Because a lot of the stuff's been teased, like especially in Zero Mission, like the end of Zero Mission deals with a lot of stuff that wasn't in the original game. And like now you can kind of piece some stuff together between like that one and this one and Fusion mostly. Because Super Metroid, that's old. It didn't really have much story to it.
Yeah.
But these three specifically, like it feels like they're actually setting up something larger in the Metroid universe, and it makes me really happy.
Awesome.
But I've inadvertently become Ben and talked about one thing for 10 minutes. I'm sorry. So,
No, that's okay.
Deep dive.
That's pretty much all I've been playing. Like, I was so hyped by Metroid, and I you know, I haven't really focused on anything else. But
nice.
Yeah.
Lo, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying I enjoyed the synopsis, the Metroid Fusion synopsis.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, that game's insane.
Yeah. I was like, oh, holy crap! I didn't realize it ended like that.
You haven't played that? Like even on the ROM?
Not Fusion, no. That's one of them I haven't played.
Yeah.
You should. It's honestly, I think it's my favorite.
Really?
Like it's more linear than the others, but just like I don't know, there's something about the story that it lays out and like the way that it's different. It's like, you know, you're not just going through like finding random Chozo statues on this dilapidated planet. Like why the Chozo conveniently leave things for you on every planet you go to is beyond me. And like, you know, very convenient locations. Like Fusion is different because you're completely being led by the Federation. So like you get to an area, they kind of like open up the map for you in that area, tell you where you're supposed to go to like get an item drop essentially. Because you're like, you know, this area is dangerous because the X are taking it over. So we've put in, you know, this item data at this like a drop point, and you need to get over there without alerting the X that you've been here, basically. And so like it makes sense that, you know, you're running to get these different items to take out the threat that is in this space station that's kind of been unleashed in this space station. So it feels more natural. Like they actually explain why you're getting the items you're getting and like why they are where they are and things like that. So it feels like it's more linear, but it feels more planned out rather than just like, especially on like Super Metroid and Planet Zebes, like that's technically that's a Chozo planet, but still it's just like, oh, here's a, you know, random thing that you need at this exact moment. It always feels so contrived, even though as a video game you kind of understand that. But the way that Fusion actually explains those things makes me happy.
Yeah. Sounds pretty cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Please someone else talk so I don't keep talking about Metroid.
I was going to say, Lo, did you want to talk about some games you've been playing?
I've really only been playing 2 games. I played a 20XX just on and off just over the last couple of days. Just so I was like, oh, I want to play a Mega Man game. So I did that. I actually did a pretty good run. I was just under like 30 minutes, I think. It was like 27 something. I beaten like 6 bosses or something like that. And then I just like, it was a really stupid death. But by the end, I was like, you know what? That was a good run. I'm satisfied with that. I only need to do the one. Usually it's either like 4 or 5 minute runs or just like one like big long one. So but yeah, that was pretty fun. Other than that, just a bunch more Fortnite. And I actually, Thomas and I had played a little bit of the Battle Royale mode, right?
Yeah, we did. We invited Anthony from Mellow Gaming and Crit Apocalypse, previous guest on this show. Yeah, we played Battle Royale. That's a game mode in Fortnite.
And now a standalone thing also.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. So let me just say that it's like a blatant ripoff. Like it's very blatant the way it rips off PUBG. With the way you fly in with the map overhead. But I feel like it's not as refined as PUBG. Like PUBG feels like a more like tactical shooter. While Fortnite's Battle Royale mode, like we were able to run around the open like no problem, not getting shot by anybody. And it's insane. Like I was freaking out for like the first maybe like the first game. I'm like, dude, we're running around the open, we're gonna get shot, we're gonna get sniped. And it's like, no, that's not Battle Royale Fortnite's forte, I guess. It's more about building forts in like 2 minutes and then moving on, I guess. It's a little bit different. We've encountered people like we've seen people building like huge like 3-story tall forts before moving on, which is insane. I think the only way you can get away with that is if like you have good circle luck, and if you don't have a good circle luck, you have to keep moving. Like we kept getting caught outside the circle, and we had to keep going. It also doesn't tell you how to play the game when you launch up in Battle Royale. You have to have a reliable friend tell you how to build things. That's why Lo was there. He was helping us out with all that, like all the controls. Otherwise, you have to just go into the menus or like watch videos and like learn how to do things. Yeah, I don't know.
Not a great start for a free-to-play thing. I mean, you think they would want to have more tutorials in there for people that don't know the base game?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
PvE has a crappy tutorial though.
But then I think about it, and like PUBG is kind of the same way. No one really tells you how to play the game either,
That's
unless
true,
your friend.
It took a while to figure that out.
Yeah,
that's true.
But it just feels like I keep harping back on controls from PUBG in this new game mode, and like the inventory is kind of all whacked out. It's like it's got different. It doesn't even really have an inventory. It has like weapon slots that you have, and then ammo slots, and then you can't like zoom in on the map to have like a better view of like what's in your surrounding area. You have to basically rely on your sight and maybe like in the giant overview of the map. So you can't like find your safety shed. Like those won't pop up on the map for you because it's too zoomed out. Lo, you had anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just I've just from the get-go, I've always felt like it was just kind of something like, oh, we're just gonna tack this on. There you go. And it's kind of it's pretty much, yeah, there's like no tutorial. They don't tell you how to do anything. It's kind of like they kind of expect you to have played Fortnite already. But I mean, the only way you've ever played Fortnite is either if you got a founders pack or if you were in the alpha, which was like you had a better chance of winning the lottery than getting into the alpha for it. But yeah, it's really interesting because one thing I actually noticed is the recent patch notes. Like it was like 100+ bullet points on the Battle Royale mode and then like 10 bullet points on the PvE. So I'm thinking that what I'm hoping that they do is that they put equal focus on both moving forward, and that they're just kind of putting more focus on the Battle Royale because it's the new thing. You know, there's, you know, they got just all this influx of users and whatnot, and just because it's a free to play type of thing. But I don't know. I'm hoping that they don't neglect the PvE in favor of the PvP just because of how, I guess, easy it is to like get people playing the game. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But honestly, I feel like it's just like a kind of like a free to play alternative to PUBG. I would rather play PUBG for that specific game mode than this Battle Royale mode, just because it's more fleshed out. It's also, I don't know, I kind of like the aesthetic of it too. But you know, I also like the art style of Fortnite, so I don't know. We'll just have to see how it develops. Right now, it's a little bare bones, and it needs a little bit of work.
The way the weapons work in that game too is kind of weird.
Kind of arcadey.
Yeah, it's not as like when I say AKM, you know what the hell that means. When you go into PUBG, it's like here's this random submachine gun. I don't know, maybe it has like extra clip damage or something.
Yeah.
Here's this random weapon. Maybe take a look at seeing what it does. I don't know. And
maybe it's automatic, maybe it's semi-automatic. You don't know.
And there's no like attachments for like scopes or anything, so you can't have like a base weapon and then modify it to make it a little bit better over time. It's just you just have the weapon you have, and that's it.
Yeah. Interesting thing about the attachments, though, they said that they were going to be adding that to PvE, so I'm hoping that they do that with the Battle Royale too, because attachments are fun. I like putting scopes.
It just helps because like early on in PUBG, like maybe you find a 2x scope, but you don't have like that rifle that you want, and then you'll find the rifle there, and you'll be able to put the scope on, and you'll have better view of the area. I don't know.
We'll have to see. Apparently,
I still plan to download that this weekend and try it out, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's not terrible. It's not. It's just not as good as PUBG, but I like the names of the places they put on there on the map. Like what was it? Like Loot Lake and
Loot Lake.
Something about
fields.
Something about toilets or something. Flush something. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I forget what something.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was really dumb.
Yeah, it was.
It's instead of just farm or hospital, it's like really dumb names. I'm in favor for that. So
or like weird like Russian sounding cities or whatever.
Yeah. Lo, is that all you've been up to?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yes.
Real quick, I had one more thing I forgot to say about Metroid.
Sure.
Go for it.
Like I beat it in like 12 hours, which is it's a slow run. I know that, but I was trying to take my time and find everything like at 100% and all that. But I said, I think last week that like, it doesn't seem like the kind of game that, will have a life with like speedrunners and stuff, because I feel like, pretty much a normal run is like probably 8 to 12 hours. Apparently the top like ending time, not item percentage, which is different from most games. Like to get the best ending, you have to beat it in under 4 hours.
Oh, snap.
Which seems impossible to me, much less like, the best ending you can achieve. It's like there's people that are probably going to beat it in like much less than 4 hours, and I don't understand how. That's like more than 40 Metroids, because that counter is not entirely accurate. And, like, again, item percentage doesn't matter, but still, like, just getting through 8 areas and 40 Metroids on top of, like, the hidden bosses that aren't Metroids in under 4 hours is, like...
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because I looked up the endings, and, like, I saw one of them was, like 3 hours and 30 minutes or something like that.
Oh. Already,
people are doing that.
That's nuts.
I can't imagine.
How are they doing that, though? How?
I don't know.
It's got to be
without glitching, probably.
Without
or
glitching,
breaking, really.
I think there might be some glitching involved.
Possible. I feel like that's like a speedrunner thing, though. Like it's finding exploits.
It's finding the exploits and the glitches and.
Nintendo games are
right, but you can't really skip areas, like I said, because you have to get through. Like you have to get all the Metroids killed before you can go down to the next area, because it funnels out all the acid in that area, so you can go to the next one. So like there's no real cheats aside from just like maybe glitching through a room.
Maybe you should watch some of these speed runs and report back.
Yeah, I might have to find like one of the 3-hour speed runs and see what they do.
Yeah,
when I've got 3 hours to waste at sometime in the next few months when I'm
just click through and see what happens.
Graduating and getting married. And...
Yeah. True enough.
Oh man.
So what have I been up to? I've been doing a lot of like late night slime ranching, actually.
I don't want to hear about that.
Slime ranching late at night.
It's been
your late night slime to yourself.
It's been really enjoyable. Like I just love like just laying on my bed as a lump, catching slimes.
Slimy lump.
Slimy lump. Yeah, I don't know. I decided to get back into it. I think they gave it away on Xbox a few months back when it first I think it was actually beginning of August, and when it became 1.0. And yeah, I don't know, it's Slime Rancher. Like if you played the beta, you know what that game is like. It's a farming game. You just go out, capture slimes, have them breed, or not breed, but like eat the other plorts of the slimes, to eat their poop to morph into new slimes.
No, they eat the food.
No, they eat the
like
plorts.
Veggies and no, they
well,
don't.
I mean, they eat
poop plorts.
Yes, they poop
for money.
They poop plorts, but you can also feed plorts to other slimes, and then they morph into another slime.
Oh yeah, that's true. They combine.
Yes.
Yeah, like you combine like the pink slime and a cat slime to get a pink cat slime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's been really enjoyable. I've gotten farther than I've ever gotten before in that Slime Rancher on PC. I finally have radioactive slimes, and I'm morphing those with boom slimes to make basically nukes, I guess. Nuclear slimes.
That's so dangerous.
They seem fine. They blow up, and they seem a little dizzy at first, but they shake it off.
Remember, Thomas, the government is always listening. Careful what you say on this podcast.
Right.
They're going to come for my radioactive slime.
Yeah.
That you make at night.
Give us the detonation code for these slimes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really relaxing, like, late at night game where you like just have your brain turned off and you just want to sit around and farm, I guess.
I like games like that.
Yeah. It's really easy to get money in that game. I always focus on the money. I know a lot of people like exploration, but I'm just like, give me all that money.
I just wish the teleporters in that game were two directional. It's really annoying. Like you get super far out, and then you get a teleporter so you can just hop back to your farm.
I kind of wish that was on your
backpack. Get back out to where you were,
or your suit or something. Like you can just like dial something up and then say you want to teleport to this area or that area.
Yeah, like there should be fast travel points. They shouldn't be one directional. Yeah. Like return to your farm and then you have to like spend 2 days going back out to where you were.
For sure, absolutely. It's a it's a hassle doing that for sure.
But it's a good game.
Yeah, it's fun. I think the other thing I've been playing other than Ys 8 is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition.
Oh, what's that? I've never heard of this newfangled Super Nintendo.
Me neither. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was probably one of the best video game systems of all time. Next to the PlayStation 2, next to the 360.
The Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance was good. Like I didn't play a lot of Game Boy Advance in my day. It was just that one game I told you about. I played Mario with my friends, and that was about it.
Game Boy Advance SP is where it's at.
Yeah, I got one of them classic editions. It's pretty neat. It's a very, very tiny Nintendo. It really does fit in your hand, like my short, chubby hands. Like it's really, it's fascinating.
What does it do? What can it do?
It plays like 20 Super Nintendo games.
21 Super Nintendo games.
Well, I guess 21.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Over 20 games.
Yeah. So I booted that up. I played it a little bit. I played the first game I played was Star Fox, just so I can get Star Fox 2 unlocked, but also because I've never beaten Star Fox 1. And I decided to like I was actually playing it. I'm like, wow, this is like super easy compared to whenever I played it before. And usually when I'm playing it, it's on my PC. And I'm like, well, I guess this controller like really helps with like playing the game, I guess, rather than weird PC controls. Yeah, I had like a really good run. Like I got past Corneria. I don't know how you say that name. Got past that level, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing all right. I got like double lasers, and then I started in the asteroid field. I'm like, this is where I always die. So I kept playing, and I'm like, holy shit, I passed this level, and I just kept going. I like washed it out, and it was really cool. I cheated, of course, and used the rewind feature, but I mean, if I was using PC, I would be using save states anyways.
It's not cheating if it's in the game. That's what they always say.
Exactly. So finally beat that. That's really cool. Star Fox 1 is still pretty good. Still a pretty good game. It's very dated, with especially the art style and all that. Like it's very polygonal, but it's impressive for what it was doing back in the day. And so I beat the first Star Fox, and I booted up Star Fox 2 when my dad came home. And before I get into Star Fox 2, just a little bit, me and my dad played Super Mario Brothers World. That was like the game me and my dad would play all the time. And it was really funny because like we haven't gotten any better at that game at all. Like we're still really bad. My dad tried to beat like the castle level, but he kept dying on this bridge that like collapses, like it goes out and then comes back in. He kept dying on that for some reason. It's still real fun. Like it just brought back the memories of like when we used to play games together.
Nice.
I'm excited to play that with my brother when he gets his. Do our Mario and Luigi tradition.
Yes.
Nice.
He tried to play Super Metroid a little bit. I don't think he's ever played Super Metroid, but he's like really bad at platforming apparently. Because when you go into the first area where you find like the space colon is empty, you have to escape the self-destruction.
The space colony?
A space colon. I call it the space colon because it's funny, okay? Just his face is just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I told you last week not to disrespect my Metroid.
I think it's funny. Anyways, so he kept trying to escape that. He kept dying, and then I just took the controller and did it, and like no problem. So yeah,
to be fair, that escape out of the space station, like when it gets all mode 70, the collision detection gets kind of wonky.
No, he just wasn't holding down the button to jump. So he had like really short hops, and he couldn't hop high enough. I kept telling him to hold down the button. I told him to hold it down, and he just wouldn't do it. Anyways, yeah. So Star Fox 2. That game is really cool for like when you want to think about what it did back in the day, if it came out like way back then. It mixed Star Fox 1's like combat, like space combat, with with real-time tacticals, like tactics. So essentially, you have to reach from Corneria to Andros. I don't know I don't think it's Venom, but I think it's like whatever where he is. And you have to fight back his forces planet by planet to get to him. And you have to select between two different pilots. You could pick whoever you want. It doesn't even have to be Star Fox. Or just Fox, I guess.
Just Fox.
Yeah. I call him Star Fox. That's his freaking name. That's your name. Live with it. But yeah, it's really cool. Like if you're fighting on one planet, there'll be battle cruisers that can send out forces to attack Corneria while you're trying to liberate a planet, which is like it's really neat how it does this real time strategy, like global, like I guess universe strategy, along with the combat system. It gets a little framey, like especially when you land on a planet and there's a lot of things happening and you're trying to shoot enemies like while you're in the chicken walker, which is another thing this game added was like ground combat as well. It kind of reminded me of that old Mech Warrior style of game. Yeah, I want to play a lot more of that. Like there's like a space dragon machine that like can split carriers into. It's weird. It's really cool. Wow. Like it's a really interesting game. I want to play more of it.
I just love how everyone's reviewing it with a modern like viewpoint. Like,
it's weird.
Oh, this game is a old SNES game. We're going to give it a 5.0 because the graphics are ugly and the controls weird.
What?
Specifically, IGN has been getting a lot of flack for that because they literally did give it a 5.0.
Did they just outsource that review to like IGN Australia or something? Because they can't review anything.
I don't remember. Like IGN's been hiring a bunch of like journalists, which sounds like it shouldn't be a negative, but they're not gamers, so they're just playing things with the mind of a critic rather than like the mind of a retro gamer or whatever.
Right. And
they're just like basically saying this doesn't hold up, so it's a bad game. Like this is a whole console of retro, like old games, like
right.
With it because they didn't update it for modern times, but it's still it sounds pretty revolutionary for if you compare it to the original Star Fox, especially.
Like I think Star Fox 2 does a lot more than Star Fox 64 did.
Really?
Personally, just with the strategy level, because like I'm not huge into 64. Like I said, I didn't have a 64 back in the day, so I came to the 64 from coming like in the present. So there's a lot of things in there that I just can't, like, as a gamer, I can't go back to.
Star Fox 64 seemed to kind of play it safe. Like, aside from, like, they also had ground battles, which were, you know, new because we hadn't had Star Fox 2. And then, like, the multiplayer dogfights were pretty cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just more Star Fox.
Yeah, like, and it had that whole thing where, like, you fight a boss and there's, like, an open area and you could do different types of roles. But, like, I didn't find that to be particularly interesting to execute.
Yeah.
I wish someone would take like inspiration from Star Fox 2 now and make a new Star Fox with what they've done with that. If I was to write a review for Star Fox 2, I'd probably do more of like a historical take on it. Just if I was going to write a review for it.
I don't think I'd write a review of the game. I think I would write like kind of an editorial comparing Star Fox 1 to Star Fox 2.
Sure. Right.
And maybe also 64, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But I think, what was it Star Fox Command or Star Fox Assault? I don't remember. One of those was supposed to be kind of like the most similar to Star Fox 2 of, you know, games that we got before Star Fox 2 just came out, obviously.
Yeah.
I think Command was on DS and Assault was on GameCube, maybe?
Yep. Yeah.
I don't remember. But one of those was like pretty similar to what this sounds like. The kind of more, you know, tactical based, like you got to keep track of what's going on in the level, and it's not just like, hey, this is like a, you know, an on rails shooter type thing.
Like a linear shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar with Star Fox outside of Star Fox Adventure because that game is amazing.
That game is pretty cool.
The only like the start, like I said, like I haven't really played a lot of Star Fox in my years as a gamer, but I've always enjoyed Star Fox 1. Like I've only ever played Star Fox 1 and a little bit, like maybe half of 64, and then nothing else really. Heard that Wii U one was pretty bad. I haven't heard great things about that.
It was supposed to be ambitious, but like the controls ruined it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's our Star Fox corner. Into the news.
Newsy news tune. A newsy news tune.
All right, keeping up with Nintendo. We're gonna start off here, Justin. Nintendo's Creator Program has updated their user guide.
Yeah. So basically, like, Nintendo's had this Creators Program for a long time. It's essentially like a network, kind of like, you know, Maker and like whatever else the others are. I can't think of them right now. It's one specifically devoted to people that, you know, promote Nintendo content, which generally, if you're not part of this program, you get all of your content flagged from Nintendo unless you submit it. Because you don't have to actually be part of the program. You can submit individual videos to be approved by this program, or you can just like have your get your channel approved for this program, and then basically any Nintendo videos you do fall under that. They review them. If they're okay, you know, you are part of that program. They help advertise them, things like that. There's some bigger names part of this, like I think the Completionist is one of the people that does Nintendo creators. That's why like Gerard is in like a lot of their promotional videos, things like that. But anyone can join it. I've actually thought about it before, but I used too many ROMs, so they probably wouldn't accept me. It's all games I've owned at one point.
Right.
I just don't have them anymore, so I do ROMs, and it's easier because like if I'm doing a DS game or something, I can't exactly record that. So even if I own a DS game, I'll still play the ROM of it, which is technically legal. Anyway. Right. So this whole program that's been out for a long time. It's basically just been for, you know, created YouTube content. Now with YouTube pushing streaming more heavily, Nintendo has updated the guidelines of this creators program, essentially saying that you are not allowed to live stream Nintendo games through if you're part of this program. Essentially, they lay out kind of the restrictions for this. They say, you know, if you do want to do live streams, you can either do it on a separate channel that's not part of the program, or you can choose to leave the program and still submit individual videos to be approved by the program, rather than putting your whole channel into it. So in this way, like if you mostly stream but you still put out occasional Nintendo videos, you can just submit those individual videos, and your whole channel is not part of it. So honestly, I find that pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
But people are freaking out because suddenly they're saying, "Oh, Nintendo's demonetizing channels." Like, you know, the extreme measures. And the reason they're doing this is because live streaming has been getting some flack from like the PewDiePie incident, things like that, where like there's no control over live streams.
Right.
So, you know, if they want to essentially be able to approve the content that's being put out, that, you know, to make sure it properly represents them, which they have the right to because you agree to be part of this program. You know, sign the agreement that stipulates all of these things that they don't want to be shown in a poor light or anything like that, going into it. And then you do a live stream where like you screw up, you know, like you say something inappropriate and don't mean to. Like there's no way to control that. You can't take that back because it's already there. It's in the live stream. You can't edit it. And they can't like decline it after the fact. So essentially all they're doing is, again, protecting their brand. Nintendo is very big about protecting their brand. It's not always right. I'm not necessarily defending them. I'm just saying it's completely within their rights to do this.
Yeah.
Because you choose to be part of this program. You don't have to be. Like I said, you can still submit individual videos to be approved by them. But by agreeing to be in this program, you're agreeing to these terms. But people are saying like, oh, well, I do live streams and now I can't monetize them because Nintendo's screwing me over.
That's not really
what
it sounds like.
Right.
Are you really even monetizing those live streams to begin with? You know, like.
Well, it's because YouTube changed their terms and conditions.
I'm just saying,
where like it's more of a Twitch model where you can actually do like, you know, advertisements in the video and the live streams. You can do like the product placements, things like that. More like what Twitch is doing. So, you know, as things evolve, the things around them also have to evolve.
Maybe I'm just thinking like smaller scale, because I see a lot of the complaints from really small people who don't get any money at all.
Those are always the most entitled people.
Yeah.
It still sounds like there's options whether you want to stream or do the individual video thing or be a part of the program. It's like you know, there's ways to do both from what it sounds like. You just have to do things on a separate channel or, you know, stream and then or whatever. All that stuff that you mentioned. Yeah.
So basically, like just to read the email that was going out to the creators, it says, we've updated the Nintendo Creators Program user guide with information on how revenue generated during live stream broadcasts on YouTube will be handled in the program. Live streaming on YouTube falls outside the scope of the Nintendo Creators Program. This means that you cannot broadcast content on YouTube Live from the account you have registered to the Nintendo Creators Program. As YouTube continues to evolve, we will work to provide you timely information to help you manage your account. So this is all on a NeoGAF forum. So I'm going to, like, while you guys continue to discuss this, I'm going to try to pull a few of the ridiculous comments that people have, you know, overreacting to this because they don't actually go into the user guide. They just see this and like, Nintendo's stifling my creativity. How dare they? You know, control the things that they created for us to use.
I don't know. It just seems like there's an option to still stream the games. Like, and people are gonna rogue stream them anyways. When people say like, "Oh, they're being like really unfriendly with their advertising. Like, they need to like go out there and support streamers." And like, yeah, like of course, because that's like the most popular way to get something over. PUBG is like the #1 example of that. But people are still gonna rogue stream Mario Odyssey like on any kind of like, and this is just going to be specifically YouTube. Like, it's not going to be Twitch. Like, people are going to stream Mario Odyssey or whatever the hell else is coming out. Like, it's ridiculous.
But you are able to stream. Like, you could technically stream Mario Odyssey if you want to, as long as you're not part of this program, right?
Right. Or you can do it on Twitch. They don't have the same risk because you're not part of that program when you're on Twitch.
Exactly.
That is a YouTube program.
So it's really
So it's really not that restricting.
No. The grand scheme of things, no, not at all.
Yeah, exactly. You can stream it on Mixer.
Oh yeah, restream.
Sure.
Stream it on
restream. Is that technically no? That's because it's still going through YouTube.
Stream it on Hitbox.
Hitbox. I just heard about that recently. I'm like, what's this? This is a thing? Cool.
It seems like the European, like, it's probably like the most European streaming service I know.
It's a cool name, Hitbox.
It's really cool. Like, I've tried it before, like Mixer came out. It was like the most low latency one. And but like I see a lot of like Germans and like Austrians and stuff like stream on there.
It's cool that there's more options, like streaming like platforms.
You can stream to Daily Motion.
Oh yeah. Daily
Get my WWE hit fix. Yeah, I think I don't know. I've been watching Rick and Morty on on YouTube lately because it's not really available in Canada unless you like get the app and watch it through the app, and the app is like horrendous. Like there's a lot of slowdown. So I'm like rediscovering my legs as a YouTube watcher and like how to watch like rogue TV shows. I guess like, oh yeah, 240p. I remember the days when I watched like the Drew Carey show in 240p. I like people will find a way to like stream this stuff out. Like I don't know. And the reason why I do think the reason why like YouTube, or not YouTube, but Nintendo came down was because of the whole PewDiePie incident. Because it's specifically YouTube.
I thought maybe it was because of the new Metroid game came out and they didn't want to have too many spoilers for the story. I thought maybe that was part of it too, but maybe not.
I don't know.
No, because there's still a lot of video content. Like, I mean, obviously they approve everything when you're part of the program, and it can slow down releases and things. But you basically have to prepare for stuff ahead of time because there can be, I think they say in the restrictions, because I did look it up at one point, there's like up to a week turnaround. Most people hear back within like the day. It's not that bad.
Okay, doesn't sound too bad at all.
No, it's not. But the problem is here, I'm not finding any good, like, hot takes from people. It's mostly just
Have you tried Twitter.com? The hottest takes are there.
Yeah, they are. That's for sure. In somewhere between 140 to 280 characters, there are some very hot takes on Twitter.
Is it 280 now? Is that
some people have 280?
Oh,
but the problem here is that like the people who feel like who are complaining about this and like feel entitled to still be able to do whatever they want with their properties are the ones that are causing the problems in the first place.
Right.
In most cases, like they're the ones who basically would cause problems because they feel like they can get away with whatever they want. They don't care about the rules that are set for them. The people who like are reasonable and like would follow the rules are the ones saying, well, Nintendo is entitled as a company to control this program that people sign up for and have to be approved for. Like, it's just like anything else. I mean, again, back to PewDiePie. He was dropped by Maker because of his actions.
Right.
And they were completely within their right because of how he acted to drop him from their program. This is the same thing. It's more direct, and like because Nintendo has had bad rap before from the way they've handled like online content and fan game DMCAs and things like that, it gets more news because people are like, well, here's stupid Nintendo making backwards decisions again.
Not every decision is a backwards one though.
Right. Like, not even coming from a biased fanboy situation, because I don't care about streaming on YouTube anyway. I don't like it. I do Twitch, and I have with plenty of Nintendo games, and have never had problems. I've uploaded videos of Nintendo games, and rarely had problems. And if I do, oh well, it's their game. Like, what do I really get from monetizing anyway? I have yet to make like more than $20 on YouTube. It's not that big a deal. Calm down, people. But yeah, like it's completely within their rights with these people that have agreed to be part of this program to make the decision of I can stick with this program and not live stream from this channel or I can leave and submit my videos individually.
Right.
You don't get as good of benefits from doing that, but it's completely within their rights. Everyone has their right to do the things within the guidelines of what's been given to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a business. Deal with it.
Exactly.
When you're employed by someone, you have to follow their rules.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those rules change. This is technically an employment situation, just like any other network is.
Mm-hmm.
You're receiving a higher cut of the ad revenue in order for, benefits that help everyone. Because Nintendo wants better representation of their games, and if they help benefit these people creating the things, then, it's a win-win situation. But if you're going to go out there like bash these games when you put their stuff up, yeah, Nintendo's going to drop you.
Yeah.
So to control that, they just don't allow live streams because those can be very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this PewDiePie situation isn't the first time there's been negative press surrounding live streams, and it won't be the last either. So I don't blame them for protecting their IPs in this way.
Also, if you're gonna like critique a game, a live stream probably isn't the best way to do it. I think a more edited video is like the way to go about it.
Right. That's essentially just a let's play at that point. And then, I mean, do they really want the entire game given away through a live stream? Again, you can still do it on Twitch. It's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because that program is a YouTube exclusive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's more about like they have the control over it because of that program, so they're going to exact that control.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that from an intellectual property standpoint. It makes them look a little sleazy, sure, but what else is new? It's not that big a deal. Like I said, it's a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are reacting, that's all.
Yeah, it's the people who don't read terms and agreements and don't understand like contractual agreements that have problems with this, really. So,
yeah.
Meh.
Plus, a lot of the people that like would actually be able to monetize and like do well from this program probably have multiple channels anyway.
Right.
So like they'd have their Nintendo focused like, gameplay or review or whatever channel, and they'd have their like everything else channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't really hurt them. It's literally the little guys that shouldn't really be making a big deal about this anyway.
Right.
Because Nintendo's stopping me from getting famous. No, you need to get more creative.
Hey.
I probably sound like a dick with a lot of these things, but I don't have sympathy for people that like complain that other people are holding them back.
Yeah.
It's just get over it.
Business change moves on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Moving from one Japanese developer to another, we're going to talk about Atlus here. Atlus, the creators of Persona 5, have issued a DMCA to Patreon to remove a Patreon page for a PlayStation 3 emulator. The name of the emulator is RPCS3, great name. The people who are making this put up a Patreon page asking for a compensation for their work, basically like help support us and we'll make this emulator. Seems like things are actually kind of coming along for that. That sounds pretty cool. So yeah, Atlus claims that the devs for the emulator are circumventing their DRM and making the game available on their platform. That's not intended. Atlus acknowledged that the PS3 emulator is not infringing on Atlus's rights. So when they submitted that, Patreon did not agree with their request, their DMCA request, so they left the page up, I guess. The emulator team has removed any mention of Persona 5 on their page because they got Persona 5 for the PlayStation 3 running on it, apparently.
Wasn't Persona 5 originally a PS3 game?
It was a both. Like I think it was maybe originally PS3, but then they made it PS4. I'm not entirely sure, but they put it on both platforms.
Gotcha.
They said the reason why they're doing this is that they don't want their customers' first experience to be frame rate drops, crashes, or other issues that can crop up in emulation, and that we have not personally overseen. It sounds like bullshit to me, but it's interesting that Atlus is submitting a DMCA over this instead of like Sony. Like,
yeah,
I know it's an Atlus game, Persona 5, but like it's an emulator. Like we've had court cases that have that declared that like emulation is fine. Like it's not against the law. Like Justin was talking about earlier, you can dump your own ROMs and play them on an emulator. It's fine.
Technically, I said it's fine to play ROMs of games you own.
Right.
The government doesn't know what you're downloading. I mean, they do, but
they have no way of checking that.
They know about your radioactive explosives lives. So
I'm in Canada. They can't touch me here.
You little insurgent.
I go hide in the north, like in the Iceland's up
to
there.
the north.
I ride a polar bear.
Cool. So I originally disagreed with this because I hadn't actually read the article yet. Oops. I was going off the title that was in the Discord. My bad. Because Atlas has had this whole thing of like stopping, people from knowing anything about P5 for some reason. And that's dumb. Like to focus entirely on one game. It is still kind of dumb. But not necessarily for the reasons they're talking about. Like the problem here is their argument. They're completely focused on the fact that, they say that the existence of this emulator does not infringe on any kind of copyright in itself, which is where I get held up on. They say that it's completely because they've allowed the emulator to play Persona 5, which is not supposed to be playable, quote unquote, on this platform. And
on their emulator platform, that's what they're talking about.
Well, I think it meant on the PS3.
No, they meant the RPCS3.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And that it circumvents DRM protections to make it playable on there, which the fact that this is entirely focused on the Persona 5 part is what bothers me.
Yeah.
Like they're completely within their rights to stop something because they are essentially like the Patreon part actually bothers me.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Exactly.
Like,
I
don't know how
I be able to make money on an emulator. That's ethically gray a little bit.
I don't know how to feel about that. It seems
right. But they don't seem to care about that part.
Yeah.
Making the emulator itself is one thing. It's the whole Patreon thing. And then on top of that, it's, hey, you should support this emulator because it can run P5. Hey, look, P5, Persona 5. Look, hey, donate, that kind of thing. Like they're kind of using like the game P5, or the fact that they can emulate it as like a stepping stone to promote their Patreon or get people to donate money towards this project, which I don't agree with that part. It's one thing if it's like, oh, we support for X amount of games. That's one thing. But if it's like, hey, look at this one. Yeah, you want to. It's the way to play this, without actually.
I think I feel better about it as because when people used to do or still do this, they have like donate buttons and it's very hidden away on like a site that you have to go to.
People can donate.
Yeah, this is like having a Facebook page open with like a fucking like give me money button.
I mean, it's literally a paywall for an illegal emulator. Like again, emulators emulators on their own are not technically illegal. But the things they're used for are, and they talk about how they don't condone piracy and they don't tell you how to find the ROMs or anything. But then they talk about how to dump games to be playable on this. So that's still an issue because like you could take your friend's copy of something, dump it to PC, and then play it on the simulator without ever buying it. Like there's still ethical issues there, and they're profiting on this thing.
That's a bit weird. Yeah.
Right. Like people can mod whatever they want. Like I love the modding community. I do think that they deserve recognition and deserve money, but that should be on an individual standpoint. Like you said, a donate button. When there's a Patreon, that's a monthly thing. That's a business at that point.
Also, it just seems
Patreon should be used for business endeavors.
Yeah, and it seems it's just like very public about it. Like that's what kind of irks me. I don't know.
It's almost like it's a selling point for their emulator project. Almost is the fact that is the P5 support.
Yeah. So like I get where Atlas is coming from with wanting to take it down, but their reasoning is so stupid and childish.
Yeah, the reason that
they're not even focusing on the things that are actually wrong with this.
It might crash.
I like that Patreon like just doesn't agree with them, and like they still have that page up. Like they could have taken it down for whatever reason, but they still have it up.
Which that's a bit of an issue too. I feel like Patreon should have a problem with that. Not for the P5 part, but because they're essentially, making a monetized business model out of creating an emulator.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not a fan of that.
And
I feel like that should.
Go ahead.
I feel like that should violate Patreon's terms of service.
They also remember Mario 64 Online?
Yeah.
They have a Patreon. I think they have that Patreon too. Still, not entirely sure.
I mean, that's been taken down already. The game's gone.
Yeah, the game's gone, but I remember they had a Patreon page as well. We might be seeing more modders and more emulator creators and whatnot try to
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting time. We live in interesting times.
Definitely
for gaming.
Because that Patreon were funding Mario 64 hacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about this a little bit on Charged Up this week about how people are abusing subscription services.
Yeah.
And everyone, people just set up a Patreon and hey, I need a new computer. Can my friends and random strangers help me buy a new computer? Things like that are just wrong. Patreon should be a business model. You should use it to, create something like this, a entertainment site.
Right.
Or if you have a project, you set up a Patreon for a certain amount of time, a Kickstarter type thing, but ongoing.
Yeah.
Things like that. It shouldn't be for just I want to, make this thing that's illegal. Help me pay to get it made.
Yeah. Some kind of process.
That's the thing you do on the side. It's not disrespectful, but it's true. I love that these things exist, but that's a thing you do on the side. You have a job. You have a passion to make things and you do it for the community. And if they want to donate to the cause, great.
Yeah.
But this is turning it into a monthly subscription service.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Yeah. Anyways, final thoughts, I guess, Lo?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like what they were doing as far as the whole oh, hey, donate to this because we can run P5 on the simulator. That I didn't agree with, but the reason that Atlas gave is stupid. They should have just been straightforward with it and look, you're kind of using our IP to make money for your own project, which is
it's just a bit sheepish and it's not straightforward. It's we're looking out for you guys.
Yeah. We want you to have the best experience.
I feel like customers are very aware of that kind of stuff now, especially gamers.
Yeah.
The most frothing consumer are very aware of this kind of thing. So it doesn't bode well.
I also think Patreon should have some sort of review process or something. So stuff
oh god, reviewing Patreons?
Not
that'd be weird.
There's got to be some sort of application process or something, because because more stuff like this is just going to come up and more people are going to try to abuse the system. And I don't know, there's got to be some way, there has to be some way to regulate it. It's probably, I don't know, I can't think about what it is necessarily, but
you have to submit tax forms and whatnot eventually.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that. Yeah.
I guess that's one thing.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Yeah, you have to set up actual payment stuff to get paid out.
Yeah, you have self-employment forms. I don't remember what they're called, 1099 or something like that. I don't know.
W8.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's different. Maybe it's different here.
Accounting classes and finance classes, but I don't remember that crap. I graduate soon. I'm over it.
I'm done.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think they should just be more straightforward with their message. That's really all it should be.
Mm-hmm. Especially considering how they've been in the past.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna gloss over this, but Justin's probably gonna stop me. Prepare for more Mega Man news in December. That's all.
Prepare.
I mean, I was just going to say quickly that the announcement they had was crap.
Yeah.
Literally is this whole they had a Capcom conference and all they did was show off a 30th anniversary logo, which looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks alright.
And then talked about how they had some merchandise, some new Mega Man merchandise. And that was it. And now, a few weeks later, they're saying, oh, that logo wasn't just for nothing. There's going to be more to come in December.
I hope not.
Like, you should have said that on stage when you were talking your merchandise.
Well, actually, going to have an announcement in December for an announcement at E3. That's what they're going to do.
It's a new Mega Man collection. God, I hope it's not another Mega Man collection.
Hey, it's the X collection, guys.
Mega Man Legacy Collection 3 for 30th anniversary. Although, like, they did actually have an old Mega Man X collection on the PS2 and GameCube, I think. And that was legit. It was just like Mega Man X 1 through 6.
Yeah.
But 4 through 6 ran kind of crappy because they were, you know, like PS1 games running on, like, a collection of them running on PS2. So they were kind of compressed a little bit because it wasn't that huge of a leap from PS1 to PS2. But it was a good collection. Like, I played through all of them again, although 5 and 6 still suck. But yeah, I'd love to see one. I don't want that to be all they have to announce.
Yeah, I want more.
Real quick, I just want to go back to the Super Nintendo Classic I have. They have Mega Man X there. That's what reminded me about it. The controllers feels weird. I don't know. It's probably been a very long time since I've held an actual Super Nintendo controller. But it feels, I don't know, it just feels off. Like, maybe it's because I'm used to modern controllers now and they have triggers on the back. Like, these are just like, it's just got the shoulder buttons and there's nowhere to put my thumb.
I mean, Mega Man X controls kind of weird anyway.
Yeah.
I haven't tried X yet on the Classic, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, and it's also got like concave and convex buttons, like the X and Y are like convex, so they go in. Or no, concave, and then convex is the other two. It's weird. And then start and select are like in the middle, and they're like mushy.
Yeah,
that
sounds just like a Super controller.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, controllers have come a long way, and I really like the controllers we have now.
Yeah.
All right.
From rectangles to this.
Yeah, really.
No, another real quick, because since you kind of kept that going, I want to see like something complete, either, you know, Mega Man Legends 3, which I've mentioned before,
okay,
actually being like revived as like a Switch game or something like that, or just revived in general, or something completely new, like a continuation, because like they had, you know, the original Mega Man games, which they pretty much caught up to now, except 9 and 10, but I don't think we really need those in a Legacy collection. They're too new. And then, you know, Mega Man X series, which went to 8, I think, 8 or 9. I don't remember. The last one I remember was 8. And then the Mega Man Zero series, which was kind of another like continuation, had a lot of the same, like the, you know, the wall climbs, things like that, but was completely focused on Zero. I kind of want to see like another step forward, like a more agile, like reactive type Mega Man character with like you know, counter attacks and like kind of like the Samus Returns again, like going back to Metroid. Like she has that cool melee counter, doing stuff like that, where it's a more like active battle system, but also, you know, like, because I always thought it was a problem where like Mega Man was completely ranged, like he had very little close range stuff. It was all shooting, and then Zero was almost completely close range. Like especially in like X4, most of his attacks were just, you know, very like new moves, but still all close range. So it's kind of like a hard mode.
Yeah.
Mega Man Zero kind of fixed that, like that series, because Zero in that has a buster and a sword. But it never really felt that dynamic, because when you get different upgrades, it's just like elemental versions of what you already have. It's not that exciting. So I'd like to see like the next generation of like, you know, a more agile kind of Mega Man Zero type series, but with like cooler weapon upgrades and stuff like Mega Man X, and then something completely new, like a, you know, more a more combo based or something battle system, but still side scroller. Definitely.
Yeah.
But I doubt we'll get that because they're playing it safe right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Mega Man Legends come back. It was I don't know.
I like to see Mega Man come back.
Agreed. But not in that cartoon form. That thing looks ugly. There's a reason they delayed it.
Yeesh.
But now that I got my Metroid back, Mega Man's the next one I'm pushing for.
You just gotta act Capcom every day.
The Mega Man Twitter account is pretty cool though, so they might answer.
From one Japanese developer to another, we got Swery. Remember Swery, guys? What? Okay. Whatever.
Take more B12.
The Good Life. Remember The Good Life, guys? When you were like
yes.
6 years old and you were playing with your Nintendo all day and... No, that's not that Good Life. Good Life with the Swery and the cats in the town and where everyone turns into a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Although I haven't seen this actual like picture from the game before.
No, I've seen a couple screenshots from the Fig page.
I like voxel art. It's really cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty neat. So they're going to be adding a dog version of this game where people turn into dogs instead of cats.
Guess.
Dogs are cute. Come on.
If you're into that kind of thing.
I love both.
But I feel like if it's just like a palette swap, it's not going to feel the same because cats and dogs act completely differently.
Yeah.
So you have to basically like make different games.
I think the cat one works at night because cats are like are they nocturnal or
not really? They're more like they're
more
prowlers.
awake.
They're more active at night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But my cats sleep, I assume, all day and all night because that's all I ever see. Callie's literally at my feet right now sleeping.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a dog version. But I wanted to bring up real quick was their actual campaign. They only have 13 days left, and they only reached like 18% of their goal. Oh, which I think is like 250,000 or so. Their goal is like 1 point something million. I can take a look here real quick.
1.5.
1.5. Yeah, they've reached. Yeah. They've gone 283,000. So I'm kind of a little bit disappointed about this. I would really look forward to it. Their fact says they have no real plans for like what happens if they don't reach their goal. I know like a lot of the wealth that you accrue is probably at the beginning and the end, but still like it doesn't look great for them right now. So hopefully maybe they can pitch it around to a publisher or like I said like it's more likely a eccentric billionaire will like fund them. But if that was going to happen, that would have happened already.
I like what you're putting down.
Exactly.
There is a trailer for it, though. I didn't realize that before, but
yeah.
So check that out if you still don't know what this game is. It looks pretty cool.
I'm thinking about funding it myself, actually. But
oh, really?
Not the whole thing. Just like
I would if I wasn't getting married in a month.
Like $30. Yeah, for sure. So remember Fortnite? We were talking about that earlier. It's reached 1 million players for their Battle Royale mode.
Mm-hmm.
1 million players at launch. So they said it in a weird way, saying that like 1 million people have ridden their bus. But like I assume that as like actually they've had 1 million players, which is
battle bus.
It makes sense because it's the only free-to-play Battle Royale mode that has come out. So people who haven't bought the game yet may have tried it and just see what it's like. Or people like me who have played both and played one and wanted to see what the other one's all about. Yeah.
I assume it means they've had over 1 million active or 1 million total players across its lifetime so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, McDonald's that has like over 1 billion served. That kind of thing. It's like, you know, our numbers track that over 1 million players have played this game so far.
So what do you think about the future of Fortnite? Is it just going to be the Battle Royale mode?
Gosh, I hope not.
I think it's going to be.
I give it 2 weeks.
Hey guys, we're shutting down the PvE servers. No one's playing them anymore.
I got it, Justin.
Thanks. Sometimes I go subtle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get it.
He said I give it 2 weeks.
2 weeks notice?
Do you know what a Fortnite is?
Oh, okay. I got it.
14 days.
Someone out there is really gonna like that. So tweet at me if you laugh.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right. Real quick, we got Agents of Mayhem dev Volition sees layoffs.
Womp womp.
The new game in their, I think it's actually part of the Saints Row.
Yeah, it's part of the same universe. Which is weird.
Which is weird. Why didn't they just call it Saints Row like 5 or something?
If they would have called it Saints Row Blanky Blank, it would have probably done better.
Yeah, probably. Saints Row Ages of Mayhem.
Right.
It's a spin-off title. Like,
there you go.
Yeah. Johnny
people
Gatson
think this is a new thing and they don't care.
I don't know.
Which is still not good, so there's that. But
yeah, they've laid off 30 people this week, including the general manager, Den Cermak, I guess. Yeah, kind of sad. Like, I used to love those games. I played them all the time, and I don't know. I don't
3.
I just don't think I'm in that mood anymore where I like that in-your-face attitude.
I'll jump into it every once in a while. Saints Row 4 is a better actual like superhero kind of simulator.
It's pretty great.
All the weird powers you can get. Yeah. It's pretty fun. But 3 is fun. 3 is really fun too. I don't know. At some point they just kind of went off the rails and just started doing whatever. And I don't know. When I heard about Ages of Mayhem, I was like, what? Why just make another Saints Row game because people know what that is already.
Yeah. I never actually played 4. I only played Get Out of Hell. But I didn't like how it controlled. It was really loose.
I never played Get Out of Hell.
Yeah, I never.
Saints Row 3 was like just literally like a hammed up version of GTA. Like it felt, it played and felt very similar to that. Whereas like from everything I heard, Saints Row 4 was a lot looser and just like way goofier and took it too over the top.
Yeah.
I like the open world like GTA aspect, but like with wacky kind of abilities and the story was ridiculous and I don't know. It felt more grounded to me.
Yeah, 4 was more of like a power fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I enjoyed that at the time. I played it through like maybe 3 times with different people, co-op, and like that's enough. Like I got my fill after the second one. The ending's great. Like it does like a lot of callback to like 80s cartoons and stuff. Like it also did a lot of callbacks to like older games in the series as well, which was really cool to see as someone who played all the games. So that was pretty neat. But yeah, like I don't know, I'm not interested in Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah. I just remember I stripped my girl down to like nothing because you gotta play as a girl. Down to nothing and had her running around beating up villagers with a giant purple dildo.
Yes.
And that was a good afternoon of gaming.
I always played as like a guy with a Cockney accent and like try to be like a James Bond type guy.
I basically made myself in the game, just gave myself the British accent.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that was really cool with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with
I'd love to have seen a Saints Row 5. Like, I would. That's a game I would have bought probably.
Oh yeah.
Moving on to something that we may or may not want to see, the Atari box.
Yes.
The Atari box is going to run Linux with a cost projection of $250 to $300. They say that this machine will run PC games, but it will also be capable of doing streaming, running apps, browsing the web, playing music. As far as games go, the machine will run the kind of games that a mid-range PC can do today, but it won't run AAA games at high-end PC performance. This kind of sounds like an original Xbox.
It's a Steam box. That's all it is. It's
It's
a Linux running a Steam box.
Yeah.
Which I think Steam boxes are also running Linux, aren't they?
I guess so, because it's open source.
Based on Linux, yeah.
So yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a $250 Steam box that you have to do a friggin' Kickstarter for
I know. Reason. Oh man, that's they're really sliding that under like their messaging. They mention it once in this article, and like that's it.
Like it is running AMD, which I love because respect for AMD. But everything else about this sounds like garbage.
Yeah,
because in general the Linux machines can't play as much because they're restricted by like only what Linux can play on the Steam store and stuff like that. So it's going to be very limited, and it also isn't powerful enough to run a lot of the big games that are just put on everything. So it's going to be like basically an indie, like okay gaming Steam box that can also do like basic streaming and apps.
Yeah.
Cool. And looks ugly.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing that got me in this article was when they talked about Virgil Mack, the creator and general manager of the Atari Box. He said that when he saw his kids' friends play Minecraft on their laptop and then hooked it up to the TV, and he's like, man, if only there was a better way to do that. And if there was only like a console that played Minecraft, I was like, are you fucking shitting me? There was only
literally anything that could play Minecraft.
I was like, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
Wow.
Yeah, they could have done so many other things instead of this.
Right.
Like, why this? Why do something that somebody else that's way bigger than you already failed at doing?
Okay, let me just read this real quick. Mac thought of the idea for the box when he saw kids and their friends connecting laptops to TV so they could play Minecraft and other software that they didn't have readily available on consoles. What? It's available on every freaking console.
We have to understand, he thought of this box back in 2003. I don't know. When did Minecraft come out? I don't remember.
Not 2003. I was 13 back then.
Made that up. But the point is...
Oh, okay.
The joke's ruined. Whatever. Move on.
This is not a good idea.
See, the thing about this is that I can't tell if you're joking or if you're serious.
I was trying to make something that sounded feasible, but was really old, like before Minecraft was everywhere, and I came up with 2003, and you still thought I was serious.
I don't know.
It was an embellishment just to prove his point. But
I'm losing my mind.
But no, like this thing is going to cost like as much as a Switch, and is going to be able to play half of the non-exclusive games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But it can do Minecraft. Let's not forget. Yeah. The only other way to do Minecraft is by plugging your laptop up to a TV. So, shell out the dough.
You'll probably have a better version on the laptop anyways. Oh.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
This is probably the Windows 10 edition that everyone complains about for some reason.
Yeah, I think I still have that installed somewhere. I don't know. Like the mystery Minecraft.
The only thing I'd say is that could be what they're saying. Is like this allows them to play the actual like full PC version, whereas consoles only have the more limited. Probably be before the Windows 10 edition came out.
Nah.
Which has like unified all those things and added a lot of the features of the original Java version or whatever.
Yeah.
As they're slowly phasing that out anyway. So basically, now that this is actually coming out to play that version, it's become the inferior, well, not inferior, but less popular version.
Mm-hmm.
While everyone is playing together across all of their other stuff.
I bet you can't even run Minecraft in 4K.
Probably not.
I'm going to move on real quick to Sea of Thieves.
Yes,
Sea of Thieves almost had PC and console sales specific, so like to each platform.
Sales is an SAILS.
Yes.
Very, very important.
Ship sales.
Because the game's not out yet. Yeah, ship sales.
Right.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about this like maybe a week ago or two, and we said like how cool would it be if like having the different consoles fight each other with specific stuff. And
yeah,
I gave that just a little bit more thought and was like, these fan bases will probably like rip each other apart because gamers are not exactly like the most cool about platforms.
In other words,
it would be cool if you could like customize your sails now, like do it like a creator and like make your own like symbols, but it would all be dicks, so maybe not.
Lo, you want to give that one more try?
Talking.
Oh, I was just saying the seas are salty enough already.
There we go. Let's just end on that one.
We don't need no console rivalry to add more salt. There'll be salt. There still will be salt.
Oh, I thought you were making a dick joke. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, no. I would meant like salt. Or I could also have made a tilt joke with, how the boat tilts and stuff.
Tilts back and forth.
Salt was easier.
Yeah, I got the salt. All right. Moving on, we got the voice actor strike finally came to an end, guys. Woo.
Well, it's tentative.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, the strike started about a year ago, like almost a year, like a year exact. It's like maybe a month or 16 days off or something like that. This was against 11 video game companies. I don't have the list with me right now, but I assume they're the big companies. Fuck. I need to get through. So yeah, they reached a tentative agreement. They will have new voice actors will have new transparency provisions, like disclosing projects, codenames, genres, as well as whether projects will necessitate profanity, sexual content, violence, or racial slurs. I think that's a huge bonus. Like, that's great that they have that now. They know what kind of roles they're freaking going for, which is insane to me that they didn't have that before. Like, what if you're not cool with like yelling racial slurs? I don't know. Like,
Right.
it's crazy that you wouldn't have that before. And then also they're going to have a bonus payment restructuring, beginning with $75 payment on the first session, and then totaling to $2,100 after 10 sessions worked. And that's what they've reached. They haven't gotten. I think they're still working out like safety for voice actors, like not having long-term damage on their vocal cords. But they're not going to be getting residuals. So it's not great, but at least it's like a step towards something.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
Well, some of the things that video game companies wanted in there also sound kind of absurd. Like things that didn't make it in, but like the companies wanted. Such as being able to fine the performers for being late or distracted at a session.
I meant to write that
That's
down.
dumb.
Another one that required agents to have performers do low-paying atmospheric voice sessions.
What does that even mean?
It's probably like the noises or like, kind of just as you're going through a game, like grunts and things like that that would be needed throughout, like outside of normal voice acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But requiring that stuff be done for barely any pay is absurd.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That should just be part of the recording session.
Yes.
It's the same kind of work.
Right, exactly. And some of that stuff is actually really taxing on your voice. If you're doing like a bunch of screams and like compact grunts and stuff like that, that you have to figure out exactly what you're doing, and you probably want to see it against the game so you can time up. Like, you don't want some kind of, you don't want a Wilhelm scream sounding thing when it's like a really serious moment. Like, you got to know what you're doing. Context is everything.
Also, it's like the most taxing. It's probably the most taxing part of the job is the screaming and the yelling and all that kind of stuff.
I mean,
because on top of it just being taxing on your vocal cords, like context is very important in that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just when I was auditioning for Final Fantasy VI, when I did Kefka, like, dude, like after that, just the audition, I was like, dang, that was tiring. Holy crap!
Yeah.
I kind of hope I don't get cast Kefka. That sounds exhausting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm happy to see that voice actors are getting a little more better compensation for the work that they do, because it is like taxing work, whether people want to believe it or not. Like, I don't know.
I mean, they are actors. Like, they deserve acting pay, even if it's just their voices. Because a lot of times now, like, they're doing the motion capture. Like, they're on, a set with balls all over their faces and these, like, goofy suits, like, doing the motions as they perform the lines. And they also, they do the actual line reading separately from that. But they're following the motions. They are the characters. So there's no reason they shouldn't be paid like regular actors are, because a lot of times that's what they're doing too, like in Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
If you look at things like Lupita Nyong'o in Star Wars, that's all she was doing. She was doing motion capture and the voice, and they put her into the movie. That's no less, hard work than like what, Nathan Drake.
Nolan North?
Yeah, Nolan North did for Uncharted 4, for example. Yeah. Same exact work, just different medium, but they get drastically different pay for it.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
That's another thing. Like, I feel like you have voice actors like Nolan North, and like, don't get me wrong, he's good at what he does, but there are so many other people out there that are just as good, if not better than him, who have way larger of a range, who aren't even recognized for their talents and who aren't being compensated fairly.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting significantly less than someone like Noir North or some of these bigger names do get, which sucks. You know, but
yeah. Another thing I want to point out is that apparently the bonus structure that they got now, like apparently it was like a significant increase to whatever they were getting before, which seems insane to me. That like
yeah, because it's not that much really.
Yeah.
How long is a session? Anyways, how much is 10 sessions? Like, how many hours of work does that equate to?
Yeah.
That's what I would like to know.
It would depend on the session.
Yeah.
I've been at a few panels for voice actors, and they'll talk about, you know, like Troy Baker for The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how like the director was working with him because that's another motion capture situation, and like he was there, like, you know, doing the scene like over and over again, and like the director was like, no, do it again. He's like, do you have any directions for me? He's like, no, just do it again. And like he had him do it like 10 or 12 times, like without giving any direction. And he's like, what do you want from me? You're not telling me anything, but you keep having me do it again. It's really frustrating. And he's like, however you're feeling right now, use that and do it again. And he just like broke down like in the lines because he was so frustrated. He had no idea what he was doing.
Jeez.
And the director was like, that's exactly what I want. Thank you. I wanted it to be genuine.
I wanted to break you.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of what he said.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, sometimes the sessions can go a long time just getting the one thing that they need. But, you know, they should be paid for that time. They should be compensated accordingly.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be like, oh, well, we just need it. You know, we're paying you by the line. So, you know, which I don't know if that's how it was, but still, it's the idea that a session could be like hours and hours sometimes. So, you know, it's kind of weird still that they're paid by the session rather than like hourly or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's a flat rate no matter how long the session lasts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
video games need to get better at paying their freaking staff.
Yeah.
And whatever
especially as
talent they
games
bring
get
in.
bigger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I heard it didn't happen recently, but like back when Kerbal Space Program was going, like the devs were only paid like $5,000 for like the whole year, and that seems insane to me. You can't live off of that. That's fucking bonkers. No. Oh man. Yeah. There needs to be some kind of union for programmers now. Like that's it. Like
yeah.
Learning about how fucking
a lot of these positions that aren't like, you know, big name positions in the industry are taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you have the big names that are making like millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
There's no trickle down there.
It doesn't even matter if it's a small game or like a big hit, like fucking like if it's even a big hit, it's a sadder story because like the people that friggin' worked on it didn't get paid properly.
Right.
They made a pittance.
And I think some of those positions don't even get like residuals for the game itself.
Yeah.
Like they're paid to program it like hourly or whatever, and then the game comes out and they get nothing once it's out.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Video games get better at paying your people who make them.
It's a huge growing industry. They need to change the way things work.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's why you get more people doing the independent stuff, like leaving high-profile developers and publishers making their own thing.
Right. That's where things like Kickstarter come in, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Because the people that making it are being paid for it rather than the studio that's, you know, funding them, quote unquote, at the bare minimum and then pocketing the rest of the money from the game that's made.
All right, let's move on into some Red Dead Redemption 2. Did you guys check out the trailer?
No.
No? Okay, well.
I don't care. Like, I never played the first one. I heard it was great. But, I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't like Westerns.
Oh, you don't like West? Okay, well that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I enjoy
I like Westworld, the show, but I don't like Westerns.
I enjoyed the trailer for this one. It seemed like a really cool, like, watching it. Like, there's not a lot of Western video games. There's like a couple, but like, there's a couple indie ones, not Indian.
There's Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath.
Yeah, but it's not real. It's not like legit. You know what I mean? Like historically accurate or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is very historically accurate, I'm sure.
Sure, it's got the whole stereotypical like gun shootouts and gangs and robbers and.
It's like the ideal kind of like what is it, spaghetti western.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
You play as Arthur Morgan. You experience the story of the Vanderlyn gang. I think they're the gang in the first game that like almost kill you, and then you seek revenge against them. Yeah, I'm excited about new Red Dead. There's no date on it. It's coming out. There's probably going to be more news on it next year, 2018.
I'll be more interested when we get closer to PC ports.
Yeah, don't hold your breath for a PC port.
Looks cool though. Looks cool.
Well, I'll be more interested when they use the same engine to make GTA 6.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
No, they'll just keep building onto GTA Online. That's all they're going to do.
Oh gosh, no.
Well, that's one thing. They said this is going to have like an online component, like a Red Dead Online.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
So I think they're trying to build that same thing out from this.
The first game had online. I think that's kind of where. Well, I guess GTA 4 was actually the one that was the first one that had online. But yeah,
yeah.
I like how you said that. Yeah.
I mean, it did.
Yeah.
But.
But yeah, it was kind of like probably the prototype to what they have now for GTA Online. It was more of like an open world where you can go and do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when Red Dead Redemption, the Undead Nightmare 2 comes. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
Maybe you'll be more interested in that. I'm not sure.
Is that historically accurate too?
Yep. You know, zombie, and there's Sasquatches and something that's okay. I'm not even gonna try. It's getting late for me. I feel like these podcasts, like every podcast I do now, it's like super late. I'm like dead and I'm tired. I'm just dying the whole time. Yeah, I'm Red Dead. All right.
It's literally not even 11 for you yet.
It's like 15 to. Okay, just calm down. Meanwhile, for Lo, it's like it's only 7 p.m. here, and
yeah,
7:47.
He's like, I'm gonna go for a jog after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up a couple more hours. Early Yoshi prototype. Did you guys take a look at the prototype for Yoshi?
I did.
I hate it.
It looks it looks like something out of a horror game. It's like
the pubescent teenager version.
It was super reptilian. It's got like a beak and everything. It's like really weird.
Yeah.
The thing it says it was too reptile-y.
Yeah.
And his eyes are terrifyingly huge for his face. Like,
and there's like
he looks like a Yoshi that would like be at the beginning of the game. It's like, oh, I'm your friend, but then later on, halfway through, he like betrays. He's like, I've been working with Bowser the whole time. I'm actually Yoshi's cousin. I don't trust that face.
He looks like they took like I know this is the first Yoshi, like the prototype, but it looks like they took regular Yoshi and like grabbed his neck and just like strangled him like until his neck got skinnier and his eyes popped out, and then just left him. Like, this is your life now.
Just
and it's the worst.
To fend for himself.
Speaking of strangling Yoshi, there's another piece of news here that happened this week that I didn't put in the docket, but I have it in my Google Doc here. Yoshi's been getting punched in the back of the head this whole time.
Oh yeah,
I knew that.
So from an interview with Kotaku, Yoshi Island designer Hino, I don't have his full name, but they went by Hino. He always designed Yoshi as a character getting punched by Mario rather than putting out his hand and saying go. And Yoshi shoots out his tongue in surprise after getting punched in the back of the head.
I think after a while he like wouldn't put up with that shit anymore.
Yeah.
No, he's Yoshi. He knows his place.
He eats things like Mario for breakfast.
Right. Like, literally.
It's not even an exaggeration. That's just what he does.
I think if you look at the Super Mario World box art, which I'm pulling up now, he has like a smile when he gets punched, and I think Yoshi enjoys it and just goes along with it. He likes being abused.
Ew. It's like a kink because he puts his tongue out. And he's like, "Oh, punch me, daddy." Meh.
Oh yeah, you're me at the last second so you can get the highest point of the little end marker thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Drop me in a hole, Mario. Okay, you're right. They do get weird at the end.
Doesn't it always?
This pubescent, angsty, like Yoshi prototype would not handle that crap, though.
Oh no, he would eat Mario instantly.
Oh yeah. Be like, stop it! His voice is changing. So.
Right.
He doesn't sound very threatening, but he means it.
I'm glad Yoshi looks the way he does now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing we need to confirm is if he has a saddle or not.
Is it a saddle, right? Or is it a shell? I heard it was a shell. Are
you team shell or are you team saddle?
Oh, it's a saddle.
Now I'm not sure. I always assumed it was a saddle, but then someone was like, "No, it's a shell." And I was like, "No, wait, no, I still think it's a saddle." So is he like born with a saddle on his back then, or
literally every search result for that is Yoshi saddle or shell.
Because they wanted him to be like riding a horse initially, but like not a horse, something more cute. So,
well, first of all, it depends on the game because the original interpretation of like the Yoshi sprite or like the Yoshi art has kind of more of like a thing that goes all the way across his back and down, which looks like a saddle. Like that's like from the original Mario World artwork and stuff. But more recently, like the 3D models of it have just like a little hump, like a red hump on his back, which looks like a shell.
Yeah.
But my theory for that is that it is a shell that works as a saddle.
Hey.
Like basically they put a Koopa shell on his back for Mario to sit on as a saddle.
I can see that.
And it's like attached somehow.
Huh.
But also there's this Anatomy of a Yoshi picture and it's real creepy.
Oh no. Is it like one of those beef pictures where it has like the cow and then like shows out all the different cuts?
Kind of. I'll put it in the Discord.
Oh god.
It has it's like his skull and like muscles and stuff. And it has an egg shoot, like literally something labeled an egg shoot.
Oh, weird. Oh.
And then a hump, aka saddle, that's like a sack covered in like a hard shell. It's real gross.
Yoshi's weird.
I don't like this at all, but I can't look away.
Yoshi is weird.
And then a giant eyeball at the top. Yeah, I'm gonna share this. You guys have to see it.
Okay.
But no, the point is, it's a shell that serves as a saddle. I don't think it's part of his body.
That makes the most sense.
Also, in the original, like the '90s Mario cartoon, which is totally canon, it's a saddle.
Is that really canon?
No, it's not.
Is the movie canon?
Oh, the movie.
No, not even a little bit.
Was Yoshi even in it?
Yeah, he was. He was basically
yes.
like
Yeah, I can pull that up too. Actually,
I've never seen it. So.
What?
Crap out of me. That movie was horrifying.
I've seen clips of it
along.
where like Goombas were like really big dudes in suits with little heads, and I thought that was hilarious. But that's about it. All right.
It's weird.
I'm gonna open up Discord right after we're done this show, so I can take a look at these things.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put them there.
I'll ask Lo right now. Where can the people find you while Justin does his thing?
You all can find me on Twitter at Near the Hero and 3R0 THEH3R0. You can also find me on YouTube Near the Hero with letters. You can also find me here on Charge Shot with these fine gentlemen.
Justin.
I am at Zero Score on like Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, mostly it. Not much to say, really. I won't be here for a few weeks coming up, so I'm sorry. But you guys will do fine without me. I believe in you. And it's still a few weeks away, but there's like going to be like 3 or 4 weeks in a row where I probably won't be here because life happens.
But Justin, you're the driving, like, opinionated, like, person who, like, drives the show. I don't know.
Well, that's why I'm warning people in advance so they don't have to listen.
We'll miss you, buddy. I don't know. I think you're still going to be here next week, though, right? And,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's a few weeks away.
Okay. Yeah. So then you can find me, your host Thomas, at CSG Thomas on Twitter. You can find us all here at chartshot.com. You can email me, Thomas at chartshot.com. In the future, I might be appearing on someone else's show for another podcast for a guest appearance. I'll have more information on that going forward, but essentially I'm going to be playing Ratchet and Clank Going Commando and trying to finish that game in not one sitting, but like over the course of the couple weeks. So talk about that.
Good game.
So yeah, until then, guys, enjoy your games.
Bye-bye.
Play Metroid.
Also play Mario.
I guess.
Stop the landing.
Okay. Crap. Where'd the anatomy go? There it is. Okay. So. Nope. That's not.